The country club's ballroom was filled with subdued chatter and the soft chiming of champagne flutes as my father's retirement party hit its stride. After 40 years of loyal service at Henderson and Associates, he was honored tonight, complete. With speeches from colleagues, the presentation of a gold watch, and enough legal industry mingling to run a boutique law firm. I lingered by the silent auction table, observing my family as they navigated the crowd effortlessly, bringing up market trends, vacation plans, and their children's impressive jobs. Everyone except me, naturally. I wore a plain black dress. I'd owned for years, my hair in a messy bun fastened with a paint-stained tie I forgot to swap out. No matter how much I scrubbed, there was still blue paint under my nails from this morning's session. To these guests, I was Elena Martinez, the black sheep who traded a business degree for painting in a garage. Elena, darling, aunt. Margaret approached, wearing her well-practiced charity smile, the same one she used at fundraisers. You look so artistic tonight. Bohemian, even. Uncle Richard, my dad's younger brother and a real estate mogul, followed with his wife Patricia, decked in gems that sparkled with every move. Cousin David trailed behind, fresh from a promotion in finance, his wife Jessica exuding the confidence of someone who's never worried about money. Still living in that little studio? Patricia asked, feigning concern. I keep telling Richard we should help you find something better. Maybe a safe one-bedroom. I responded quietly, sipping water while they enjoyed champagne pricier than a month's groceries. Studio? Uncle Richard chuckled. That's generous for a garage. Elena, you're 31. Isn't it time for a proper career? I could get you a starter job. It's a step toward a stable future. David agreed enthusiastically. Uncle Richard's right. Art's a fun hobby, but you need retirement plans, health coverage, equity. I could show you portfolios that would set you up if you start now. What kind of art is it? Jessica asked, as if asking about pest control. Still those little holiday paintings? The conversation drew attention, relatives gathered, drawn by the annual "What do we do?" about Elena debate. She paints landscapes, my mom explained, in the tone reserved for children's crafts. Very nice, very peaceful. Quite talented. But it's not really a career. Mom, my sister Amanda chimed in, confident in her medical residency. Elena's work is actually good. I have one. It's just a tough market. Maybe she could teach art, make it practical. Teaching is stable. Great benefits, Margaret agreed. Elena, you should consider certification. Schools always need art teachers. My father joined the circle. At 65, he still had a lawyer's poise, his suit immaculate, silver hair perfectly styled. He'd worked to provide for our education and lives. What's happening here? He asked, though his face said he knew. We're discussing Elena's future, Richard explained, trying to help her make practical choices. This art phase has gone long enough. Phase, I echoed. Well, yes, Patricia laughed, it's been what, a decade? Time to grow up. Amanda's becoming a surgeon. David's doing great in finance. Even Sarah just got promoted. Speaking of Sarah, David added, her tech company needs a graphic designer. Not fine art, but it's commercial. Steady pay, room to grow. I can refer you. The family circle now included most of the party, even my father's colleagues. I felt like a specimen, judged by people who equated success with salaries and titles. Still making those little pictures, Richard said, switching to his tough love tone. Elena, I'll be blunt. You're 31, living in a garage, driving an old car, wearing the same dresses. When will you get a real job? The question hung in the air. The party's noise seemed to hush, everyone waiting for my reply. Richard makes some points, my dad said gently. Elena, we love that you follow your passion, but we worry about your future and your security. Art is beautiful. Mom added, but it's not reliable. You can't build a family or future on it. I looked around the circle. People who loved me, who wanted what they thought was best, who believed they were helping by pushing me toward traditional success. They saw my paint-splattered clothes, my modest life, and my refusal to advance, and worried I was wasting my life. They had no clue my little pictures had sold for 6 figures for 3 years. You know what, I said, setting my glass down, maybe you're right. Maybe I should consider changes. Richard beamed. That's the spirit. First step is being practical. Speaking of practical, David added, I brought investment brochures. We could go over them now. That's thoughtful, I replied. But I should discuss any big decisions with my current advisor. Current advisor? Patricia looked puzzled. Elena, you don't make enough to need one. Actually, I use a wealth management firm, I clarified. They handle diversification and global tax planning. Multiple income streams can get complicated. Their confusion was almost funny, they looked like I was speaking Greek. Multiple streams? Amanda asked. Elena, what do you mean? Before I could answer, a commotion at the entrance caught everyone's attention. The maitre d' was escorting a sharply dressed man, clearly someone important. That's Marcus Whitfield, someone whispered. He owns the Whitfield Gallery. Why is he here? He scanned the room, spotted me, and smiled, heading straight over. Oh no, I muttered. Miss Martinez. Marcus called. There you are. I have fantastic news. The family parted as he joined us, his presence commanding. Marcus Whitfield was a legend, known for launching art stars. His approval could make or break a career. Mr. Whitfield, I said softly. This isn't the best time. Nonsense, he said, grinning. This can't wait. The Tokyo show was a smash. Every piece sold in the first hour. Collectors battled for your work. Your Mountain Dawn series fetched $2.3 million. The silence was absolute. Richard's glass slipped and shattered. I'm sorry, my mother whispered. Did you say million? Yes, $2.3 million for 3 pieces, Marcus said. The whole Tokyo show totaled $15.7 million. Extraordinary for one exhibition. 15, David croaked. 15 million. And that's just this month, Marcus went on. With London sales and museum installations, Elena's income is nearing 8 figures. We expect her to cross $50 million annually within 18 months. He turned to me. The Louvre made an offer for your Eternal Seasons collection. They want a permanent wing for your landscapes, $75 million for the collection. The Louvre. Amanda whispered. In Paris? Exactly, Marcus beamed. Elena would be the youngest American with a permanent exhibit there. Unprecedented. Richard made a strangled sound. Patricia turned pale. David stared as if I'd grown wings. Elena, Dad whispered. Is this real? I tried to tell you, I said. You never asked for details. Marcus looked around, confused. Is something wrong? Did I interrupt? No, I said. Just a family talk about careers. Well, on that note, Marcus brightened, the Met wants a new series for their American wing renovation. $20 million for 12 large works. 2-year project, major marketing. 20 million? Jessica breathed. Plus royalties from prints and licensing, Marcus added. Her licensing brings in around $3 million yearly. He showed photos on his phone. These are from a recent penthouse commission in San Francisco, 12 pieces, $8.5 million. The images showed massive, luminous landscapes. Elena painted those? Amanda asked. Yes, Marcus said. In her studio. By the way, Elena, your contractor finished the expansion. The new space is ready. Expansion? My mom asked. Elena bought the building next door, Marcus explained. She's creating a cutting-edge studio, climate control, pro lighting, space for large pieces. The build cost $2.8 million. She can now do even bigger projects. She bought a building? Patricia squeaked. Actually, 3, I sighed. A studio, a gallery, and a residential property. Good investments. The house, Marcus added, is a beautiful Victorian in the Arts District, being restored. Authentically. The magazines are raving about it. Richard swayed. Elena, you own a mansion? It's not huge, I said. Only 12 rooms, mostly for art and events. I'm starting a foundation for artists. 12 rooms. David repeated. Marcus checked his watch. Elena, the movers need instructions. Should we transfer your collection tonight or wait? What collection? Dad asked. Elena keeps major pieces at home, Marcus said. But those worth over $5 million must be stored securely. By insurance rules. How many? Amanda asked. 37, Marcus replied. Worth about $127 million. The number changes with the market. The group staggered. Richard gripped a chair. $127 million, Mom whispered. Paintings. Elena made. Just her personal collection, Marcus clarified. Her total body of work is worth over $400 million globally. 400, David whispered. I looked at my stunned family, the same people who'd spent an hour urging me to get a real job. Elena, Dad asked quietly, why didn't you tell us? You never asked, I replied. You assumed I was failing because I lacked a corporate job. That my work wasn't valuable without a title. But you live so simply, Mom said. Your clothes, car, my choices aren't about money, I interrupted. They're about what matters to me. I don't need luxury to feel successful. I need to create art that moves people. Marcus nodded. Elena's dedication is legendary. She works 12 to 14 hours daily, refuses lucrative projects that don't fit her vision. Her integrity increases her art's value. You turned down jobs? Richard asked. Last month I declined a $12 million project for a casino. It didn't feel right. You turned down $12 million? Patricia gasped. It's not all about money, I said. Integrity matters more. Marcus checked his watch. Elena. The movers are ready. Go ahead, I decided. And the Louvre. Tell them yes, but I want to help design the exhibit and educational programs. Brilliant, Marcus said. I'll call the curator. As he left, my family stared as if seeing me for the first time. Elena, Richard said, we owe you huge apologies. We do, Dad added. We were too focused on traditional success to see what you'd built. Why didn't you tell us? Amanda asked. I wanted to know you loved me for who I am, I said, not for achievements. I wanted your approval to be unconditional. The truth settled over them. They realized their concern was more about their own comfort than my happiness. Can you forgive us? Mom asked. There's nothing to forgive, I said. You worried because you care, even if it was misplaced. David cleared his throat. So, about that financial advisor I mentioned, I'll stick with Goldman Sachs, I smiled. But thanks. Goldman Sachs? Jessica squeaked. They handle my conservative investments. The art funds are managed by specialists in New York. Richard shook his head. I offered you a starter job, and you make more in a month than I do in a year. Success isn't a competition, I said. Your business matters, too. But this is extraordinary, he said. It's what happens when you follow your passion. And get lucky with timing, I said. Luck had nothing to do with it, Dad said. It's your talent and work. Marcus reappeared. Elena, the art is secure. The Louvre call is set for 9 a.m. Paris time. Want the private jet? Private jet, several family members said. I'll manage travel myself, I said. Thank you. Of course. PBS also wants to confirm your documentary shoot next week. Documentary? Amanda asked. PBS is profiling American artists, I said. They're filming A Day in My Life. My daughter on PBS, Mom marveled. Assuming filming goes well, I cautioned. Marcus laughed. Elena, you'll be great. He checked his watch. I must run. The art world never sleeps. Enjoy your father's party, you've earned it. As he left, my family kept staring. Elena, David said, when you said you were fine financially, what did you mean? I'm fine, I shrugged. I can pay my bills, save, make art without worry. But what does that mean when your art sells for millions? Patricia pressed. My accountant says my net worth is about $180 million, not counting art I keep. The silence was broken only by Patricia's glass joining Richard's on the floor. $180 million, Dad echoed. It's not about money, I said. It's about making something lasting. But the money helps, David said. It gives me freedom, I agreed. Freedom to take risks, experiment, say no to projects that don't feel right. It's a tool, not a goal. Richard shook his head. I bragged about my real estate, and you've built an art empire that dwarfs it. Success isn't a contest, I repeated. Your work is valuable, too. But Elena, Amanda asked, why live so modestly? Because that's not what makes me happy, I said. I don't need luxury. I need time and space to paint. The mansion is mainly a gallery and studio. The living part is modest. I care more about light and workspace than luxury finishes. Mom looked at me anew. Elena, I feel like I don't know you. You thought I was your struggling artist daughter, I finished. And I am. Every painting is a struggle. Every piece teaches me. But not financially, Dad said. No, I replied. But security doesn't erase artistic struggle. It makes staying true to the work even more important. Is that why you teach at the community center? Amanda asked. Partly. But mostly the kids remind me why art matters. They just want to create. Richard was still shaking his head. I owe you an apology. All those talks about being practical, you were trying to help, I said. You worried because you care. But we were so dismissive, Patricia said. You didn't know, I said. The art world is unpredictable. Success isn't guaranteed. But you never gave up, Dad noted. Because I couldn't, I said. Painting is who I am. Even if I never sold a piece, I'd keep painting. That's what makes the difference, David said. We measured success by outside standards. You measured it inside. Success is personal, I agreed. For some, it's a job or family, for others, mastery. There's no universal measure. Mom squeezed my paint-stained hand. Can you forgive us for being so narrow? There's nothing to forgive, I said. Family means wanting the best, even when we disagree. But we were wrong. She insisted. You found your path. You weren't wrong to worry, I said. Most artists do struggle. Your concerns were fair. But we should have trusted you, Dad said. Now you do, I pointed out. That's what matters. Richard raised his glass. To Elena Martinez, world-renowned artist, and to learning that success takes many forms. To family, I said, raising my water. And to supporting each other's dreams. As the night ended and the guests left, my family gathered close, understanding more about assumptions and the risk of judging by their own standards. I learned, too, that sometimes people need outside recognition before they truly see what's been built. It's not ideal, but it's human. 3 months later, after the PBS documentary aired, my family was featured for supporting artists. Richard became an advocate, using his contacts to help artists find studios. Dad embraced his role as a proud parent, attending shows and learning arts language. But the biggest change was how we talked, no more assumptions or dismissive remarks. Every gathering now ends with a toast to following your passion, wherever it might lead.